friend was like, hey, will you come look at this house for me? I'm thinking of buying it. Where's the first place I'm going to go? I'm going to go to the heart of the house, which is the mechanical room, right? Because that's going to tell me really everything I need to know. You go to some utility rooms and they got nice epoxy or whatever on the floor, and it's all organized with beautiful looking pipes like it's a flute. So I think that really is a good indicator of how healthy the stuff is that you can't see.
Welcome to Curious Beer Podcast. I'm Mark Williams, your host. I got a returning guest, Trapper Roderick out of Utah, Roderick Builders. What's up, Trapper?
Not much, man. How you been?
Oh, actually really good. I just got back from Costa Rica boot camp. Speaking of wellness, we had our 4-day retreat, 2-day workouts in the ocean, in the jungle, eating amazing food, bunch of owners. Maybe that's why I'm sick. So all the time in taxis and airplanes on the way back, I think got me.
I tried not to watch your guys' videos because I had FOMO day one.
It was good. Where do you see the videos coming out? Kaylee, our videographer, and Ryan Combs from AFT. That guy, it brought more drones than, anybody. That guy is set up. So he's got some pretty sick setup. So we got some good stuff coming.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it.
Well, I thought today for Thursday's episode, we would just talk for 20 minutes about what we're seeing in the wellness industry. You're in Utah. I'm in Minnesota. We talked a little bit about this in Chicago when we were together this fall at Contractor Coalition, and it's all I seem to really want to talk about these days anyway. So just bringing people on that want to talk about it. What have you done in the past in your homes and in designs, and what have you seen sort of changing not only in your spec home, but the way clients are engaging with you specifically around wellness?
I think day one, when a client starts to interact with us, they often ask about like building science, which leads to wellness because we start getting into the HVAC system, and HVAC system is your lungs of your house. And so we have pretty poor air quality in Utah, down in the valley, really good up in Park City area. So
is that just because of the inversion, because it gets trapped by the mountains, or why?
Yeah, it gets trapped. And even though we have such a small population, it just gets crazy trapped. Like it's like 35 degrees down in the valley right now, and it's like 50 up in Park City, even though we're only 20 minutes apart, and it's a higher elevation. But yeah, it's pretty trippy. So we really want to create like a good filtration system. So we kind of start with that, and then just we have so many minerals in the water, and so we kind of start with just like the building science parts of wellness, and that's like at the really early stages.
Mm-hmm. What are you seeing in terms of finishes? In terms of like, obviously the sauna and cold plunge have been really popular for the last 4 or 5 years, and I'm not discounting them. Yeah. But now it's like, I can't remember the last home I built without a sauna for sure.
Yeah.
But what's next? What else are people talking about when it comes to wellness?
That's a great question. Infrared is another big part, right? So like, are you doing your sauna with infrared and normal heat, or you're just doing one or the other? Our gyms just seem to keep getting bigger and bigger. Like they become like a core part of the house, like our spec house in particular, instead of it just being this dark room that would have been a storage room that's now been turned into a gym. Now it's like one of the core features and has some of the best views in the house, right? So like it's really encompassing the indoor and outdoor.
That right there, I think, is the biggest fundamental change that I've seen. And I think we're just at the beginning of it. And with our Misa Hoos project, I give a lot of credit to my architect on that one, Carl. Typically, for the last 21 years, the exercise room, as much as I love exercise, and I love it probably more than the average person, it was always the basement bedroom that got actually, you're like, oh, you're lucky enough to like get a few things down there. And maybe it had a lookout window if you were lucky, but most likely it was like working out in a subterranean vault of concrete. Mm-hmm. And now, to your point, yours is, views. And at Misa Hoos, Carl's like, where would you like to work out? I'm like, overlooking the pool, like in the sun. He's like, exactly. He's like, why don't we make the pool house the wellness studio? And, you can slide open the doors, go right out into the saltwater pool when you're done. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like exactly what I would want. And so now when I explain it to people, it seems way more logical. I think we're going to see a huge shift where that becomes a priority, not the afterthought.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. That's pretty much exactly what we did. And there's nobody really that has anything like that in this market. Like there's a lot of big homes, but like ours was very intentional and kind of smaller to make sure that that gym and sauna like had views and felt like it was a part of the outside separate from the house rather than just having to be a part of the house. Like we want it to be completely separate and super special, and will probably be what sells the house.
Yeah, I mean, I think the home oftentimes can be aspirational. Like, what is the lifestyle that you want? And so I think that is usually a big part of it, like your health and your wellness and things like that. So I think having that being especially if we sell it as a key part, not only as a difference maker, but something that attracts a client that wants to change something in their lifestyle. I'd be curious to know the people that buy the home, if it's already a part of their lifestyle or if it's aspirational, it's something they want to have it in their lifestyle. Because obviously there are plenty of people, like I built a house for a client that we did this amazing exercise room and they've never used it their entire life. And it was kind of funny because they never exercised. They were like in their mid 70s. And at the last minute, they threw in like a 800 square foot glass box on the top of the house, which is like one of my favorite designs we've ever done.
Yeah.
And then the homeowner was like, well, I think I'd like my exercise room up there. And I was like, John, I didn't know you exercise. He goes, I don't, but I might one day. I'm like, okay, I'll do what you want. I just thought it was sort of funny.
Yeah, that's way funny. Yeah, I was actually curious. Have you ever done like circadian rhythm lighting, like the light that adjusts throughout the day?
Yeah, so those are here. There's a line called Ketra,
Yeah.
and so I would really like. They're like $800 a can though, so they're a little
Mhm.
outside my budget. At Mises, we're doing DMF cans, which
Okay.
probably half the cost or even
Yeah.
a little less, but they're still warm dim and all that. But
Mhm.
I didn't have it in the budget. I really like the idea, and I've certainly
Mhm.
pitched it to a few clients, but I have yet to have a client who said sign me up. But I've
Yeah.
to everyone that I go to the lighting studio and show them, it's always
Mhm.
the light that they want. It's just
Yeah.
that none of them have been willing to spend the money for it.
Yeah.
How about
Agreed.
you?
Kind of the same, but I mean, we're definitely integrating smart systems, which I do think plays into a healthier home, right? So I was thinking, like, if I was to build this house for my wife, like, how could I make her life easier, like more stress free, just like little things. Cause I think sometimes a smart home becomes, bad for your health because it's just a stressful house, right? Like you're constantly checking your phone. And so I was like, just like the simplicity of like a raw three system where the blinds and the shades go up every day at the same time and they go down at the same time, and rather than having to run to every room and click a button or even manually adjust it, I think that plays a lot, I think, into a healthy home as well these days, and I don't think a lot of people give it enough credit.
We're working with, I agree with you for one thing. I also think we have to be, I war a little bit with technology. Like I certainly like technology and I like the adoption of it, but
Hmm.
I see so much value in like less is more. And I think what you just said is maybe a combination of it. Like it can automate, but then you don't necessarily see it. But I'm really interested. One of our AV guys has a EMF detector, and so when I'm done with Misa, who's we're going to walk around the house. We didn't design this house to be EMF free or to be contained. So I'm really
Yeah.
curious to see how strong it is or isn't. And turns out, unless you're very sensitive to it, like obviously around like a high voltage is the worst, so obviously where your meter comes into the house, but they actually make a paint that you can put copper in the paint.
Yeah.
We just looked into this and it'll actually block it. So like if you were in, I guess they've been using it in commercial construction now for a little while, that if you're in, let's say, downtown setting or there's lots of high voltage or a lot of signals, or if you have security, you want to prevent people from tapping into your Wi-Fi, you can actually put copper into your paints and essentially acts like a block.
That's really
Have
cool.
you played around with that at all?
I haven't. There's a chance it could have happened and I didn't know it. But I when I did that big wellness post like a month ago, that was probably the number one thing that was in the comments or like DMs to me was how about like a shut off? So like essentially all the power in this room and electricity and EMF signals get turned off other than the most important one. And I thought that was like, God, that's a really interesting thing. Like I'd never even thought of it.
A few weeks ago, I interviewed, I think, Kelly Price from Price Architects, and
Yeah.
she has the platform, the Non Toxic Architect,
Yeah.
and we talked in her episode about a kill switch or a dark switch
Hmm.
and she said she hadn't actually executed it yet, but they were in design right now where like you go into your primary, like why do you keep on all your power when you're sleeping? Like
Yeah.
just shut all that off. The problem is that if people have their clocks or something plugged in, how do you keep power to it? So that would be something you'd have to figure out a way around. I really try for myself. I keep my phone downstairs. I don't bring my phone up into my room, which actually your phone has way more EMF than almost anything else in your house.
I
In
believe it.
fact, this little thing right here,
Oh, you
There's
got it.
yeah, I don't know what it does, but evidently it's supposed to harmonize or consolidate the frequencies in EMF.
Hmm.
And I saw it in the paper here. Yes, I'm an old soul who reads the paper every day. But at the Timberwolves Stadium or arena for basketball, think of there's what 30,000 fans at a game, something like that. And if you have 30,000 people with cell phones, think of how many EMF signals are in that arena. And so
Yeah,
this company actually has these big like I don't know what they're called, harmonizers. I don't know the technical term, but the idea is that they would harmonize all the frequency in the entire arena. Because a lot of times you go to a stadium or you go to a big event and you don't necessarily feel great after. Maybe it's all the yelling, maybe it's because your team lost, or
yeah,
maybe it's the EMF frequency. Who knows? We'll see. And so I actually reached out to them. I have a meeting set up with them to see if they want to be a partner on Misa Who's. I have no idea what their stuff will do, but I thought,
yeah,
how cool would it be if I had a couple of these little copper whatever, and you can get them on your body, you can get them on your phone, and I don't know how much of it is I'm just curious about the technology. I'll kind of go if it's something you can add after. Like, why wouldn't I put a few of them around the house?
yeah,
Sounds kind of cool.
for sure. I agree. So you said on most of your homes that you've done saunas, but how many are you doing cold plunges in?
So far, zero. Misuhus will be the first one.
Did you do in ground?
No, because ours is outside, so I have it
Okay,
above ground. It's a
okay,
freestanding one on the
gotcha.
backside of the sauna.
So it has a
Yeah,
chiller and all that other stuff.
it does. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And I suspect, I
Yeah.
mean, it's cold enough here. I'm not sure people will use the cold tub in the winter here. It's in a minus 20. So I think you just go stand outside for a while. I don't know if you need the water. I think you'll be just fine standing outside. I would imagine most people would use the cold tub in, in the summers and on the shoulder seasons.
Yeah.
But I like the contrast therapy of cold and then, or sorry, the sauna and then the cold back and forth personally. And there's
Yeah.
been some more recent studies that when you cold plunge, it was like kind of all the rage the last couple of years, but now it seems like it's changing. So like we have a cold plunge at the fitness club that I work out at, but if you're looking for muscle growth, you're not supposed to cold plunge after you work out
It's supposed to be before.
before
Yeah.
or just on an off day. So like I'm a big
Yeah.
runner, so it'd be fine if I did like a long run and then went in cold plunge because you're reducing inflammation. But it's just becoming as we become more and more interested in these
Mhm.
things, it's still evolving and like how we use it and how it helps us. So
Yeah. I have really bad back pain, like probably from a car accident years ago. But the days I cold plunge, I have a cold plunge at my house. The days I cold plunge, like I feel like I'm $1 million all day until 5 o'clock.
until 5 o'clock. Well, then just put
Yeah.
one at your office. Just sit in your cold
Yeah, I know.
plunge.
Yeah. Well, twice a day. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
How out of curiosity on your saunas, how many of them are infrared versus traditional heat?
We only do traditional. I always talk people out of the infrared, and
Me too. I don't like them.
Not that I'm against it. Like I understand it, but I just love the other, right? So much more.
How many are
Um,
electric and how many are wood burning of those?
we almost always do the electric with the rocks and all that other
Mm-hmm.
jazz to it. So there's a company. They're called New Primitive. They're based out of Utah. They build all these modular saunas and they ship them all around the country. They're like these cute little shed roof with some glass. We used to build all their product for them. So we built like I don't know, like 400 modular saunas.
Oh wow.
So we kind of nailed it down, and that's why we do it in so many of our houses because we just have it down to a science, roughly.
Yeah. I actually tell me what you think of this. So for the last, I don't know, 15 years, I think tubs in the owner suite, unless you have a large, huge luxury home where it's like it's almost like people want the tub for the luxury of the look. Like the photo
Mhm.
that they have has a tub in it.
Yeah,
But practically speaking, most people that I design and build for never sets foot inside a tub ever in their owner suite. Do you agree with that statement?
I do, and it's a big problem on one of the homes that we're working on right now, and it kind of always goes back to like my wife uses the tub every day, right? And you have to have a tub in the house, and we've made all these other rooms in the house with no tubs. So it's like, oh, well, you need at least a tub in a house, right? And so it still ends up being always the primary. But I agree, like it's kind of a
But
waste. I'd rather have a big
well,
party shower.
all right. So here's where I'm going with this. And I don't know. I've never been good at predicting markets, so this is probably sure to fail. Then I think that the next 5 to 10 years, I think we're going to see a huge resurgence in tubs, specifically soaking tubs. And here's why. In the world that we live in with technology and all the draws on our time, what is the most luxurious thing that you could afford or protect? It's your time. And
Yeah.
it's distraction free. What takes more time than filling up those dumb tubs and keeping them hot for the whole time you're in it, or whatever temperature you want it to be? So like having a set thermostat, because we've all done it where you set it too hot, you get in there and you sweat buckets, then you want to get out. So it's like, I think the tub will be the new luxury. I think the tub will be the new wellness thing, because sitting, reading a book, and just having like an hour of quiet time in a tub without a device, without a cell phone, which is a whole separate conversation.
Mhm.
I think that we're going to see tubs coming back, because that is the ultimate luxury, that you have enough time in your schedule, that you've been disciplined enough time to create that time to spend it just soaking in water, because water is extremely therapeutic. Like, I was a swimmer in high school and college, and whenever I was hurt running, playing basketball, whatever, I would always go in the water, and I would always rehab whatever sprain, whatever shoulder ailment I had way faster by swimming. I'd swim for a couple weeks, and whatever was hurt on my body, I felt better. I seriously believe in the power of like hydronic rehabilitation, if that's even a thing. I'm just
I can see that. I mean, I like I said, my wife does it most nights, but like the night she doesn't, like she just craves it so bad. And like if she's put the kids to bed, I'm like, you want me to start a tub for you? Right? I mean, so like it is a luxury to her, because for her it is her escape. It's like she doesn't have to come talk to me. She's not talking to anybody. It's just her time, right? So I can see that. Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors. I've used Pella for 21 years as the exclusive window company on every one of my builds. When people ask me who I trust for windows and doors, it's Pella, every time. Their craftsmanship, their innovation, the top-tier service make them a no-brainer for any custom home builder or designer who demand the best. Whether you're designing something bold or building something with timeless elegance, Pella has you covered. They're also the only window company that has a lifetime warranty on all of their windows. I've gotten to know all of their people at Pella Corporate, as well as locally here at Pella Northland. I'm proud to call them our partners and our friends. Visit Pella.com to learn more and connect with your local reps today. For more information, you can also listen to episode 1, where I interview the Pella Northland founders, as well as episode 109, where we talk all about their latest innovation with the Steady Set window.
What do you think if someone came in and said, what are 3 things that we haven't talked about already that you would want to put in a custom build that helps with wellness? What would those 3 things be?
Oh man, that we haven't already talked about. I think one room in every house should have a steam shower. But I mean, I personally like it. I mean, I don't think I think sauna is probably has way more benefits than a steam. But I'm a big fan of steam showers. I think that's a big one. But ones that we haven't talked about, I mean, filtration of like your water and your minerals, like and RO systems. Like, I mean, that's just a no brainer to me. Like hands down, like every house should have it.
Yeah. We're working right now with Pentair. They're actually based in Minnesota, and they are the second largest filter company in the world, actually. They do all the pool equipment as well, but
That's
they are
cool.
launching at IBS here in 2 weeks their new project called NAIA, NAIA. And actually, Brad Robinson has one. Brad Levitt has one. I have one as beta. We beta tested them for the last year.
Cool.
And they're going to be, you'll see them in a couple weeks when we're at IBS together. And they have, so it does RO, it does carbon filter, it does your whole house filtration system, but then it remineralizes the water automatically, all as
Mhm.
one system. So it's all the water, not just certain parts. And somebody that I think it was Brad Robinson was saying that he has in his house, and he said just like when he takes showers, he feels like his skin feels so much softer. You don't have any salt, so no salt bags anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other things that it does that I'm unaware of. I'm going to go do a factory tour in a couple weeks,
Yeah. That's
just to get
cool.
my eyes on it. But I agree with you. I think what we drink has long been underrated, just like what we breathe. I'm blown away at what our lungs can process. So the idea, I had a client during COVID that wore 2 N95 masks because he said, if I get sick, I'm dead. He had some respiratory,
Mm.
underlying, not illness, but he was just very prone to anything respiratory in his lungs. And
Mhm.
we put HEPA filters in. We put UV lights in the plenum. So we have that actually at Misa Hus as well. I think the UV lights kills like 99% of the bacteria in the air, and then the
Mhm.
filters then extract, whatever dust particles or whatever is in there. And
Yeah.
I had someone recently on the podcast, and I'm going to butcher the stat, but it's a crazy stat. Something like we spend like 80 some percent of our life indoors, which is just like like that is so much more than I would have thought. I mean, I guess you sleep a third of your life, so maybe it's just sleeping. But
Well, yeah, which gets you into like your HRVs and all that stuff, like bringing the fresh air into the house, right? And like making sure that you're filtering it, but you're also breathing fresh air. Because I mean, there's a point where a house is too tight if you don't bring the fresh air in, And I think that's a big mistake, oftentimes in the building science world, is making a house maybe too tight.
I mean, I think that ship has sailed, right? I mean, by our code, you have to the houses are super tight. So I think you obviously have your HRVs and your ERVs that have to
Mm-hmm.
equalize that. I mean, I don't know what state. It's
Oh,
not. I'm not
Utah is
aware.
so bad. I mean,
Oh,
the
really?
requirement. Oh my gosh, it's pathetic. Yeah,
You mean bad in the fact that
like
you have to
our
do a lot, or
standards.
bad that you
No,
don't
we
have a
don't
lot?
don't have to do like almost anything.
Really?
It's yeah. So like, if you even mention any of those things, I'm like, what's that?
Oh,
Like
wow.
people don't know what it is
We've had
because
it
it's
for
not
like
common.
we've had it for like 20 years. It's like I didn't even know that was a thing. I do know, and part of it's our climate, right? I mean, the last
Mhm.
2 weeks here in January, it's been minus 20 for a good solid 10 days.
Yeah,
And although here's the pro, right? It kills all the bugs, the Lyme
yeah,
disease dies, no
yeah.
poisonous snakes. Like there's a lot of benefits, people. Just go on vacation the 2 weeks it's really cold in Minnesota and you'll be fine. But anyway, oh, I'd heard a really cool stat that Minnesota builds more homes at scale that are energy performing than any other state in the country,
I believe it.
mainly because our code is so robust because of our cold climate. And anyway, yeah, I didn't even. That's crazy that you don't have that as like even your baseline code.
Yeah, so like, I mean, I would. The reason why I believe that, that's your guys' standard is because of just hearing you and anyone else that I've heard that builds out there. Like your standard is what our upgrades are. And not saying that we don't go above and beyond in other areas, right? But like, just our code is so lax, and they hand out contractors licenses like candy out here because there's just not enough contractors. I guess I don't know. And everyone in Utah is a contractor, but waterproofing like Tyvek is still like a pretty normal thing, and it's kind of pathetic.
Wait a minute, they'll put Tyvek like on the concrete foundation as waterproofing.
No, like just like on your framing, like that's
Oh,
that's all they use, right? Like they're not using like zip sheeting is like a major premium. I mean, roll on is like a major premium, or your peel and
I
stick
would
that you
still
use.
say in Minnesota, I would still say Tyvek or some sort of staple on
Okay,
WRB is still probably. I mean, by percentages, has got to still be by
gotcha.
and large the most. I mean, obviously at the higher end, it's not.
Hmm.
And so, but that's true of any market. I think any market
Yeah.
that's dealing at the higher end, your clients expect a certain level of obviously not only expertise but level of craftsmanship, and a lot
Hmm.
of it is up to us as the builders to convey that. I don't think I've ever had someone come through, they're talking about maybe AV or the saunas or the cold plunges or the windows or cabinetry, but no one ever
Hmm.
comes in and be like, oh man, Trapper, I heard you use really awesome 2x6s. I hear in the valley like you might be the best 2x6 procurement company I've met. Like they trust you to make those decisions for them. And we as builders, we kind of know what the other builders are. In fact, I just had a real estate agent come in, and we were listing out the top 30 builders in Minnesota to see if
Hmm.
his list was the same as my list, and his was pretty good actually. He nailed them, but he had just mentioned a certain builder. He's like, oh, that builder really cuts corners. I'm like, oh really, what do you mean by that? He's like, well, I see them using chip plywood all the time versus like full plywood, and like these top end builders, like they would never do that. I just
Hmm.
thought it was interesting, his point of view. He's not wrong, but I just
Yeah,
thought his that's something you can actually see. But how many things can the client not see that you and I direct? I mean, a
totally.
large, installations being one of the probably the biggest thing,
Yeah.
but also systems, the way we structure our systems. This podcast, this particular one's about wellness, but I think there's a lot that goes into wellness. And if you don't have your structures and your systems in place, the thing that you put at the end, well, it might look great and it might check the box of being wellness. If the rest of it doesn't kind of follow suit, it's kind of glitter on a pig.
Yeah, it's funny that we kind of have gone to this side of the wellness, but like when I walk in a house, or like if a friend was like, "Hey, like will you come look at this house for me? I'm thinking of buying it." Like, where's the first place I'm going to go? I'm going to go to the heart of the house, which is the mechanical room, right? Because that's going to tell me really everything I need to know of how healthy is this house. Like, and you can tell, like you go to some utility rooms and they got nice epoxy or whatever on the floor, and it's all organized and beautiful looking pipes, like it's a flute. I mean, yeah. So I think that really is a good indicator of showing how healthy the stuff is that you can't see.
You know what's funny? I don't know. I don't know what made me think of this, and I could be wrong. I don't know if I've ever had one of my lady clients ever go to the mechanical room. Like it's always the guy. He always now when you but I like the way you frame it because usually those are the engineers and they're the ones that want
Yeah.
to look under the hood of your car, like what kind of
Hmm.
what kind of RPMs and all that kind of. I'm not a car guy, so it's like
Hmm.
people that want to pop the hood and look at all the
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like, great, I just want to know if it can drive fast. Like I
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah.
And but it's just sort of interesting and like what people gravitate towards. But honestly, it's top to bottom. It's everything.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
For sure. What about you? What are some things that we haven't talked about that you think are important in wellness for our
In
homes?
terms of product, I think I'm actually like I really love plaster, Venetian plaster. I heard
Hmm.
recently that it acts as a carbon sink. I didn't know that. So it's actually like a breathing membrane. So I don't know if you guys do much for plaster out west?
I like it. I do a little bit. I used to do it when I was little for
Okay.
my dad, but so the ones that we do in LA, like they're almost all plaster. But I
Yeah.
know like that lime plaster and stuff like that's becoming
Hmm.
really, really popular.
Yep. The plaster
But
is really cool.
just as accents.
Yeah. And most of ours has been accents, but on
Yeah,
Misa Hus, we're doing pretty much the whole house. So
good for you.
everything's in extremes. I would say I think a big thing is like the finishes we're putting on woods. Like it's pretty much for
Mhm.
sure paints have no VOC, but stains
Yeah.
have to have a little bit of catalyst. Like we went down the wormhole on stains. I was like, but I didn't want to force my painter to do something he'd either not done before
Hmm.
or B wouldn't stand the test of time. And so stains do have some element of I guess the catalyst that bonds the chemicals to it. But like the wood floor, I didn't want like a polyurethane or an oil. We're doing linseed oil. So basically things that have been around for a long time. And so
Yeah.
most of our homes like natural countertops and whatever you can find in nature is probably going to be just fine. So I think
Yeah.
biophilic design, we use a ton of wood in our homes. Again, specifically in Misa Hus. I think my poor trimmers are going to be in there for like 2.5 months. And the house isn't that big. And it's just like
Yeah.
every single surface in the house has like white oak on it. And so just natural products. And I think there is something in us as humans. I think we're attracted towards natural things. So I'm sure there's an actual health benefit to being surrounded by things in nature, but I think there's also a psychological one of how it makes us feel, and natural light being the number one thing in my book for me. Like I don't like cats oddly enough, but like I like a cat. Like I gravitate towards like where like if there's a sunbeam coming in, like I'm gonna go sit in it.
That's interesting. Like you say that we gravitate towards it. Like I'm a big believer in like grounding. Go walking in the dirt, the grass, or the ocean, whatever, like barefoot and whatnot. But like whenever I see like a big, nice slab of stone, I just want to lay on it. I just want to like put my whole body on it.
Just
So
lay on your
yeah,
countertop. See what
yeah.
happens tomorrow morning when your wife comes down for coffee. I want you laying on your countertop in your kitchen.
In my birthday suit.
Just be like, I'm just grounding, honey. It's not a big deal. Well, I don't know how we can end a podcast any better than that one. Thanks for tuning in the Curious Builder podcast, and we'll see you next week. Trapper out.
Thanks for tuning in to the Curious Builder podcast. If you like this episode, do us a favor, share it with 3 other business owners. The best way that we can spread what we're doing is by word of mouth, and with your help, we can continue to help other curious builders expand their business. Please share it with your friends, like and review online, and thanks again for tuning in.